guys, hello again and welcome back to the channel. So this is just a short update of one of the existing standard metagame decks, but with Brothers War's inclusion, we will go and check out what new cards that was included. So as you can see here, this is from the event Nothing But Land, posted in MTG Top 8. It got into the first place. We call it Rakdos Control, but I call this archetype, which is also a previous one introduced back in previous sets. It's with the Anvil deck with the Onicult Anvil as one of the main components and the strategy and synergy that goes with it. And so we'll go to check what new cards was included. So we go again with the lineup. The typical build of this black-red control in a way was more of a grandy kind of deck. In this build we have 4 copies of Epicure and Blood Tide Harvester. So basically these are the ones, the creature that produce these blood tokens, which will be used later on by the Anvil to be sacrificed to do the chain of having this 1 damage to each opponent. You gain 1 life, and then you will be going to create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token, which triggers only once per turn. But the question here is that you would need to have this one activated during your turn to be able to produce this chain of colorless construct artifact creatures during each of your turns. Now for that, this Brothers War set has included, as you can see here, is the combo component, or sort of a way that we call it as the mailed component of this deck, with the Prediction Dragon Engine and Mishra claimed by Geeks. So we do a little review. It's just as 3-cast 2/2 engine artifact creature Protection Dragon double strike. When it enters the battlefield from your graveyard, you may discard your hand. So if you do, draw 3 cards. It's quite just a regular 3-drop, I'd say, but with the double strike advantage, you can do some early damage, maximize at 4, and in the late game, if you're able to turn this one and place it from your graveyard, you can pay 5, that is 3 and red to unearth this card, and also good if it's this trigger that you can discard your hand and then you draw 3 cards in this process. Now for what this combo goes with is Mishra claimed by Geeks. So basically currently this is one of the high priced card in the set. So Mishra is a legendary creature, Preparation Human Artificer, with a 3/5 power and toughness. Whenever you attack each opponent, loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of attacking creatures. So if Mishra is claimed by Geeks and a creature named Prediction Dragon Engine, that is this one, are attacking, and you both own and control them, you will do this meld setup. Let's say they will exile them and meld them into Mishra, lost to Phyrexia. And there's a battlefield tap and attacking. So this is basically the card. As you can see, this ability, it is a legendary artifact creature, Prediction Artificer. It's still tap and attacking, and say, and it has its ability ATBs or attacks. So if you're going to go with this, you got to choose 3 out of these triggered abilities. So 3, those are 2 cards, 3 damage to the target, destroy artifact or planeswalker. Creature control gains menace, trample, and your creatures you don't control gets -1/-1, and create 2 tap Power Stone tokens. So basically in the setup, you can probably conclude that you've won the game with this mailed combo that you can be able to pull off. But what we go with is, this is probably, in my opinion, is more of a win-more situation, though it can happen at any setup wherein you get to be able to do this mailed combo without the opponent's interruption on it. So by what of this combo goes with, we have also some utility cards and spot removal, of course, that goes with the Anvil. So given with the combo of this, we also have Experimental Synthesizer, which is sort of the gas of this deck, which is also existent in the setup of this build right before Brothers War, or even from Dominaria United. So you can enter, leaves the battlefield, exile top card with library, and you may play that card this turn. And you have also the option to sacrifice it on your own by paying 2 in red to create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance, though the activation will only serve as a sorcery at sorcery speed per se. In addition to this, we also added Brothers War's new card. So it is sort of a similar effect with that of a synthesizer. This is a Mishra's Research Desk. Pay 1, tap, sacrifice Research Desk, exile the top 2 cards of the library, and you can choose one of them, and until the end of your next turn you may play that card. The benefit here, or sort of the advantage, is that you can be able also to unearth this for another instance that you can also play the top 2 cards of your library. But the only drawback here is that you won't be able to use this card as a fodder to the anvil. So as explained earlier, synthesizer used to be sacrificed by the anvil to be able to create this token, lose 1 damage to its opponent, you get 1 life. At the same time, you get to exile the top card of the library and you can play it. This one though, you would need to pay 1 and tap, sacrifice it on its own to be able to play the top 2 cards. Either way, there's still instance there when you can synergize on how this effect would look like depending on how your board setup would see. So along with it, we also have 3 new cards. This one's sort of from Brothers War, the Transmogrant's Crown. This is a 2-token rare. Artifact achievement. Quick creature gets +2/+0. Then whenever quick creature dies, draw a card. This is also a card draw per se, which you can also equip for 2 colorless or just pay 1 black. So since this is a black red deck, you would also go to just paying 1 to equip your colorless construct artifact creature produced by Anvil to be able to gain some extra damage. At the same time, if you're able to get skilled or sacrificed, you can also draw a card in this process. So much more good ways to go with this deck that can get you more card advantage in the setup. So along with it is 4 copies of Fable Mirror Breaker. This is basically just the instance of producing the shaman creature with the ability that whenever it attacks, you can create a treasure token, at the same time filter out your hand, and also have this shenanigans with the Reflection of Kikijiki. Now for the spot removals, so aside from Bloodtide Harvester's ability of sacrificing -X, we also have 2 copies of Bolted Surge. This is also a good benefit, the standard component of this deck, in which we can able to also deal for damage instead by sacrificing an artifact. And then the new card reprint, go for the throat, because you can also go with destroying target and artifact creature, and probably this has replaced Infernal Grasp in this setup. But I don't think it would really go with basically this kind of card, because there are instances wherein your opponents may have artifact creatures such as those prototype cards that would not be able to deal with this card. So either way, we'd still have some good removals here, and also one copy of Powerstone Fracture. So may sacrifice artifact creature and destroy target creature or planeswalker. The drawback is that it's only go with the sorcery speed, so there are instances that you might not need some combat tricks to be able to do this one. And the last creature that will go with this, along with our lands that are practically the same with what we had with the previous deck builds, is the lone copy of Shieldred. This is more of a win condition per se, but you can benefit more if you comboed with Fables, draw a card from the Crown, this one, and whenever also your opponents would draw a card, you will lose 2 life in another passive lose life effect in your lineup. Now for the sideboard, we're just going to go quick rundown. We have cut downs for aggro, duress, braids also, and duress maybe for mid-range control. In addition to aggro matchup, we have the new card Brothers Hoods, and that can basically destroy 3 damage to each creature in Planeswalker. We also have the same combo with what most of this deck would go wield, with a 2-drop Bloodtide and turn 3 Omnixilis copy, Casualty X. You can also go with the Truth if be able to go against some slow mid-range or control decks. In addition, we can go big with more Shieldreds in the sideboard. We swipe out some unnecessary cards to be able to drop this one by turn 4 as early as possible, and support cards with Soul Transfer, a sort of a spot removal, and also can return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, and 2 copies of Invoke Despair, a sort of a killing off enchantments of your opponents and planeswalker at the same time. So last but not the least, unlicensors for mono blue, graveyard shenanigans and the like. This would be most established because it is an artifact that is usually hard to deal with pertaining to sideboarded games. A setup wherein your opponents would go more with uh, creature removal or maybe discard effects. So turn 2 Unlicensed Hearse would really go a long way in those setup. So overall, this would be the look of the Rakdos Anvil deck, not the control one as we say. But I would still recommend if you go with the more uh, interactive or in a way lots of activation kind of deck, I would recommend this one. And if you were able to play this one in your local tournament or in MTG or MTG Arena, let me know in your comments what your observation or what other recommendations that you may have on this build. So I guess that's about it for this, the Rakdos Anvil Control and other scenario kind of name for this deck build. If you like this video, you can check more on this previous post led, or like and subscribe and notifications on for more updated in the next upcoming videos of the standard formats, deck text, and other MTG related content. So I guess that's about it. Thank you for checking this video, and until next time, guys, see you.